All eyes are on the Gulf of Mexico, the Texas coast preparing for Beryl's arrival. After tearing through parts of the Caribbean and Mexico with hundreds of miles per hour winds, the tropical storm now gearing up for its third and final landfall. This time along the Gulf Coast, where it's expected to again become a hurricane before finally making landfall, hopefully for the last time. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Christina Villion in for Darian Trotter. We begin tonight with a live look outside the San Antonio skyline, as many of us saw some rain tonight, but we're also keeping tabs on Tropical Storm Beryl to see if it is going to bring any more rain. Beryl is expected to make noise in Texas late tomorrow and early Monday morning. Voluntary evacuations are already underway for several counties. Right now, 121 counties across the state, including Bexar County, are under Beryl's disaster declaration. State emergency management officials say everyone should prepare for the worst-case scenario, no matter how far inland you live. Tonight, we have crews all along the coast tracking rain, flooding conditions, and how communities are handling the impact from Beryl. Our team is ready to bring you all things Beryl and its potential impact right here in San Antonio. Meteorologist Joe DiCarlo is at the Weather Center tracking the path of what's going to become a hurricane again, if and when it could affect San Antonio. And Fox SA's meteorologist Brad Souter is in North Port Lavaca, one of the very first places it's expected to touch down tomorrow. About 10 miles south of Brad is Fox SA's Amanda Henderson at the southern part of Port Lavaca. And we're also keeping live tabs all along our Texas coastline in South Padre Island, which is right near the Gulf of Mexico. Taking a look at the calm before the storm at South Padre Island, you are looking live at that. The biggest threat for the area is life-threatening storm and hurricane-sized wind, which will bring in heavy rainfall. Residents along the island of Port Isabel now under voluntary evacuation notices and preps of the heavy rain. Right now, the big question is if we're going to see any of the impacts from Beryl. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe DiCarlo with what we can expect to see.
That's right, Christina. We are continuing to track Tropical Storm Beryl. It hasn't moved much through the day today or wind-wise. It's still a 60-mile-an-hour tropical storm pushing to the northwest this evening at 13 miles an hour. It's having a hard time finding itself, really, but it's trying to strengthen as it heads towards the Texas coastline. It's expected to become a little bit better organized tomorrow as it nears the Texas coastline. Latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center brings it into the Texas coast as a strong Category 1, maybe a Category 2 storm somewhere between Corpus Christi and Matagorda Bay. You see the cone of uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center well to the east of San Antonio. So this is where the center of the storm will likely go, staying to the east. Rain chances around San Antonio from Beryl are low. High, though, if you live east of San Antonio. Today, though, we've been tracking some showers and storms not associated with Beryl. We've had some brief heavy rain in spots. We'll talk about who saw the rain today and what we can expect locally from Beryl coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. We know you're keeping a close eye on it and continuing our coverage on tracking Beryl. Let's take a live look right now to Corpus Christi, where the city is just reeling back from the damages of Tropical Storm Alberto that hit them a couple weeks back. Just this afternoon, the mayor declaring a local state disaster. Residents and local businesses on the North Beach have already started prepping to keep those floodwaters away.
20 60-pound bags of sand coming, which should give me 40 more sandbags that we were going to utilize out front here. But as a precautionary, we're just going to run our food down, anticipating that more than likely we'll have to shut down.
Christi expected to get several inches of rain and up to several feet of storm surge once Beryl makes landfall across the Texas coast. Let's now go straight to Fox SA's meteorologist Brad Souter. He joins us with how Texans along the coast in Port Lavaca are now bracing for Beryl's arrival.
We've been tracking Beryl now for the better portion of a week. It's made landfall 3 times, twice in the Caribbean, the Yucatan just yesterday, and now tonight it's targeting Texas. Well, we haven't seen a storm yet. Nobody in the U.S. has. But now, yes, a hurricane could be on the way right here to Port Lavaca. The biggest concern, the water. Of course, water is always a major concern with a hurricane. And here we're looking at about a 4 to 6 foot storm surge. And as you rise just 4 feet up here, you're already getting into infrastructure. If we go 6 feet, we're 2 feet of water into this parking lot. So major concerns tonight and as this storm ramps up and targets Texas. In Port Lavaca, Texas, meteorologist Brad Souter, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. And it's not just Port Lavaca, a number of key tourism spots along that Texas coastline prepping for Beryl as well. Officials in Port Aransas expecting the storm is going to cause widespread damage and flooding there too, as they urge people to evacuate. The county issuing a voluntary evacuation order today as authorities and everyone there, they're urging them to get out of harm's way. Evacuation order also including owners of RVs, boats and other large vehicles that could topple if those strong winds hit. Now, neighboring Refugio and Goliad counties also issuing a mandatory evacuation notice. According to the county judge there, water could be turned off sometime tomorrow ahead of the storm hitting. Refugio County will be providing buses to emergency shelter locations outside of town. The Texas Department of Public Safety's team here in San Antonio also working to prep buses for Hurricane Beryl's evacuations. Today, they conducted inspections on those buses to ensure that they're ready to go if evacuations are indeed needed. DPS officials say that they're ready to assist Texas communities that may be impacted by Hurricane Beryl. Another county in Texas issuing a voluntary evacuation is Calhoun County, expecting to sustain damages from Beryl. Fox SA's Amanda Henderson is also in Port Lavaca and describing how residents there are also gearing up.
People in Port Lavaca are set to make the ultimate decision. Will they stay or will they go as Beryl makes its way to the Texas Gulf Coast city? Right now, all is calm and quiet here, except for a couple of people who are enjoying a concert right now. The city says it was important for them to still continue it because the weather was permitting, and they wanted people who had been working all day to board up their homes and their businesses to be able to take in a moment of peace and calm before the storm. Talking with both the mayor and the county judge for this area, they say that they have put the area in a code red, so everybody is aware of what's going on and they know what to potentially expect as Beryl is making its way to Port Lavaca. We will be here bringing you the very latest, as well as what information people need to know when they need to know it. From Port Lavaca, I'm Amanda Henderson.